Well, today we're making a Biscoff pound cake, and first I'm starting with browning my butter since this can take up to 2 hours to get back to room temperature. And we're making a streusel for the cake, and I'm using these ginger cookies instead of Biscoff cookies. And to do this, I'm just using flour, the cookies, and butter and crumbling it up. And then I'm going to bake it in the oven for 10 minutes and set it aside. And again, you can find this recipe down below. I will share it there. All right, so I am just measuring out all of my ingredients and setting them aside, starting with the sugar and then our dry ingredients, so flour, and we do sift our flour. It makes for a more fluffier cake. If you don't sift it, it can become more dense. And then we're going to get going on our brown butter and sugar. So this would be considered part of the wet ingredients. And look at that brown butter. It's such an amazing addition to any baked goods, I feel like. And I whip this up in the mixer while I go on to the next things. And of course, I am following this recipe step by step and slowly. This took me all day. I added the vanilla in with the butter and the sugar, and you wanted this to become frothy before adding in the eggs. And when you're adding the eggs in, it does mention to do it one at a time, making sure it's mixed in before you add in the other egg. And then I continued on with the ingredients and the recipe, and I gotta say the batter looked amazing, and I was really happy with how it was coming together. I had no doubts, and I did slowly add in the flour and until it was fully mixed in together. And then I went and greased the pan. You really want to make sure you grease those pans. And a helpful tip is to grease it, and then you can add in a dusting of flour to help it from not sticking. And then I layered the cake batter in the streusel cookie crumb. And yeah, that was the process. Y'all, make sure you have a day to bake this cake, because after baking for an hour, you're going to let it cool, and then you're going to add your top to it or the frosting. And I waited until the following day to add the frosting at our dinner, and I used the Biscoff frosting, which is made with the Biscoff butter, cookie butter, and powdered sugar. No shade to anyone. Since this holiday is a celebratory one where loved ones gather, I choose to focus on the winter solstice and celebrate that rather than Christmas, which is rooted in the Gregorian calendar, capitalism, and consumerism. I choose to offer gifts that are homemade, created to support our immune and nervous systems, and to keep our circles small and intentional, much like our ancestors who witnessed and honored this season and prepared for the season ahead. With that being said, I also do not celebrate the new year in January. While it marks a new calendar year for our tax agents and systems, I choose to celebrate the new year with the return of the sun in April.